I bet I'm not Mitch Connor, and I bet that tomorrow, April 15th, 2015, that we will finally get the verdict for the Jahar Tsarnaev trial, the Boston Marathon bombing trial. You know, that Boston hoaxathon with the trouser bomb, the bomb that only attacks trousers. And we'll see if he'll get the death penalty or not. A lot of people seem to think he won't because of his lawyer, of course, but being that she's represented people like Richard Reed, the shoe bomber, back in 2001, and Jared Loughner of the fake-ass Gabrielle Giffords shooting. It's almost 7 p.m. in Eastern Standard Time here, so we would have heard it by now, being that Boston is in Eastern Standard Time as well. That's where I'm at, but we still haven't heard anything. But that's not why I'm here. I just wanted to lay out this prediction I've made in private the day before. I think it's going to happen. What a perfect day, 2 years from the day. But today, Judicial Watch has this report. ISIS camp a few miles from Texas, Mexican authorities confirm. They don't confirm it with any proof, though. They just say it is. It says here, ISIS is operating a camp just a few miles from El Paso, Texas, according to Judicial Watch sources that include a Mexican Army field grade officer and a Mexican federal police inspector. Probably corrupt-ass people, because how the fuck did ISIS get to Mexico? Okay, I mean, like, this has been talked about for a while now in the news media and stuff, okay? I'm sure most of the people that'll watch this know that ISIS is, at least the ISIS that we get to see is fake. There is an actual Islamic State, it seems, over in Syria and Iraq and such, but that's not what we're showing. We're showing fucking propaganda movies, basically, that are, in my opinion, created by Rita Katz and Site Intelligence Group. But really, how did they get over there? I mean, isn't Mexico basically a dictatorship, or do I not know enough about Mexico? I'm not super well versed in, the Mexican government and the way it works. I can admit that, but I do know that there's a lot of drug running down there that, whatever his name is, the Mexican president, is connected to it and things like that. And there's a lot of warlording going on with drug cartels, right? And, yeah, they're probably working with the DEA since... DEA is involved in that stuff, along with the CIA, bringing in drugs from different parts of the world, including South America, and often they have to go up through Mexico, or they, take the ocean waters up to Florida. Those are big drug ports. But why would these drug cartels be, having coyotes, bring ISIS up near the U.S. border? That doesn't make sense to me. I mean, yeah, I guess they're for profit, but why would they want this terrorism? Plus, Mexicans aren't exactly Muslim. So, this would constitute a threat to them, if the whole Islamofascism narrative is correct. That would be a threat to them, just as well as it would to us. Luckily, all of these ISIS attacks that are heavily publicized by Western media are fake as fuck. Okay? One by one, I've covered a number of them. Others have covered a number of them. Drills, fakery, whatever, okay? Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Fakery like green screens and CGI and photoshopping beheadings and shit like that, okay? It's really friggin' ridiculous. But most people don't watch that. They just watch the news reports and take that as fact, when if you actually go and look at the stuff, it's so bucking fake. But most people watching this will know that, so I'm just preaching to the congregation, right? So this supposed exact location where the terrorist group has established its base is around 8 miles from the U.S. border in an area known as Anapra, situated just west of Ciudad Juarez in the Mexican state of Chihuahua. Another ISIS cell to the west of Ciudad Juarez, Puerto Palomas, targets the New Mexico towns of Columbus and Deming for easy access to the United States, the same knowledgeable sources confirm. But just by their word... Unless Judicial Watch has actually seen the documents, because they do say here, that Muslim prayer rugs were recovered with the documents during the operation. A joint operation between the Mexican army and the federal law enforcement officials. Documents in Arabic and Urdu, as well as plans of Fort Bliss. Well, it wouldn't be the first time they've faked things. Remember the passports on 9/11, right? That were in perfect condition. Very much similar to the passports with the MH17 Ukraine, the passenger jet that was shot down over Ukraine, supposedly by Russian separatists, so the Western media said. And they had all these perfectly intact passports, some of which were not still valid. And the next paragraph is their excuse as to why they can't take them out, basically, though it's only subtly implied. Law enforcement and intelligence sources report the area around Anapra is dominated by the Vicente Carril Fuentes cartel, Juarez cartel, La Linea, the enforcement arm of the cartel, and the Barrio Azteca, a gang originally formed in the jails of El Paso. Cartel control of the Anapra area make it an extremely dangerous and hostile operating environment for Mexican army and federal police operations. The Mexican army has guns too. I mean, fuck. If they're there, if this is a real threat, I mean, it would be a threat to Mexico too, wouldn't it? Not just America, because Mexico's not Muslim, and part of the idea is that they're Muslim and they don't accept people who aren't Muslim, right? So take them the fuck out. But no, they can't do that because it's too scary. It's pretty scary. A bunch of bullshit. There ain't no fucking ISIS in Mexico. According to these same sources, coyotes engage in human smuggling and working for Juarez cartel help move ISIS terrorists through the desert and across the border between Santa Teresa and Sunland Park, New Mexico. To the east of El Paso and Ciudad Juarez, cartel-backed coyotes are also smuggling ISIS through the porous border between Acala and Fort Hancock, Texas. These specific areas were targeted for exploitation by ISIS because of their understood municipal and county police forces and the relative safe havens the areas provide for the unchecked large-scale drug smuggling that was already ongoing. Mexican intelligence sources report that ISIS intends to exploit the railways and airport facilities in the vicinity of Santa Teresa, New Mexico, a U.S. port of entry. The sources also say that ISIS has spotters located in the East Petrillo Mountains of New Mexico, largely managed by the Bureau of Land Management, to assist with terrorist border crossing operations. ISIS is conducting reconnaissance of regional universities, the White Sands Missile Range, government facilities in Alamogordo, New Mexico, Fort Bliss, and the electrical power facilities near Anapra and Chaparral, New Mexico. Okay, yeah, sure. They could do regional universities. The White Sands Missile Range, you really think they'd be able to fucking do reconnaissance on that? Like there wouldn't be security there? Government facilities, there wouldn't be security there? Fort Bliss, for fuck's sake, come on. It's more fear-mongering, just like, the fear-mongering of the people being recruited by ISIS in the United States. I've covered a few of those in videos. And, they're supposedly in what? I just said supposedly. Supposedly, they're in what, 48, 49 states? ISIS cells and shit. Come the fuck on. I can't link everything all the time. I've covered it before, but every time somebody's been busted, in America as, a supposed terrorist, supposedly pulling off a terrorist attack or trying to, they are, they're entrapped by the FBI, okay? They're coerced, they're funded, and they're supplied by the FBI, usually with like fake bombs and shit, and then they bust them as they go to do it. But they're coerced by the FBI. So would they have done it? Would they have attempted to do anything had they not been coerced? I think the answer to that is no. Now, I've said it before that I don't think there's going to be a, another 9/11 sort of thing in America until we get a Republican president. With the way the propaganda is going at this point, I wonder if I could be wrong about that, because that's over a year and a half away before another president takes office, January of 2017, So there's, with the video, in my previous video, if you haven't seen it, it's not about watching the video, it's watching the video linked in the description on LiveLeak, America Will Burn, or whatever it's called. Oh, I'm stupid here. Where the hell is the... Sorry, we will burn America here. Anyway. It might come sooner. Who knows, you know? There's been people talking, a lot of different people talking for a long time about Obama, you know, finding a reason to become a dictator and shit. I don't so much see that happening, but it's a possibility. I don't know, you know, but, you know, I think that's over this time of his presidency, hearing that, I think it's a bit fear-mongering. And I think there's nothing really to be afraid of unless they pull another fake attack, you know, a drill, which they happen to be doing a bunch of drills down in the, New Mexico area, funny enough. So possibly has to do with the joint operations between Mexican Army and federal law enforcement. We'll see. We'll see when it happens, but it's almost sure to happen. Hopefully nobody actually dies in it, and hopefully people don't believe it, because it's going to be fake.